morning, everybody. Hey, you got it. I'm listening to Alicia Keys, y'all. Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you guys for joining in today. I just want to come on before you guys to tell you, hey, we made it through the month of September. Today is September 30th. We have gone through for 30 days, right? With the exception of taking a couple weekends off. But with that being said, throughout the week, we have been on it. I've been sharing these videos. You all have been participating. You've been coming on. Some of you have even sent me a direct message to say, hey, I appreciate what's going on. You know, I greatly appreciate that. I appreciate your support. Whenever you're able to watch the video, if you're not able to watch the video at the time that I'm recording it, that's totally fine. If you're looking at it later, if you're sharing the video, share the video link to someone else, that's even greater, right? I'm awesome news to hear that, right? And I greatly appreciate you guys' support. So what I wanted to come on today to kind of talk about is kind of recap a little bit about what we've already shared. We've talked about unhealthy relationships. We've talked about toxic relationships. We've talked about loving ourselves, self-love, self-care. We've talked about doing us, right? Staying focused, staying motivated, doing the things that we want to do, what our purpose is. We've even talked about cheating relationships, right? We've even talked about men not being able to help women when women haven't healed. We've talked about women can't help men when they are in their place, right? We've shared an awesome different topics, right? We've shared on a lot of different topics before you all for these 30 days, right? I've shared such great information, right? To where I'm like, what else is left? And I realized today one thing that I didn't talk about. I didn't talk about forgiveness. And you know what? Without forgiveness, any of those topics that I talked to you about, you're not going to be able to be as successful with them, right? Because forgiveness is the glue. Forgiveness is our power. Forgiveness is bringing back our power. I'm going to say that again. Bringing back our power. Bringing back control in our life. Giving us freedom. Giving us peace. That's what freedom does. That's what forgiveness does, right? Forgiveness to me is freedom. And that's what it does. Freedom gives you peace, right? You have a peace of mind when you're free from something, right? So just kind of think about, what are you still holding on to? Is it something from your past? Is it from a past relationship? Is it from a divorce that you went through? A breakup you went through? Losing a friendship? Are you still holding on to some things? Is it something that you're holding on to even as maybe someone has passed away and you're holding on to, you know, the memories or what you should have, could have done when that person was alive, right? What is it that you're holding on to? And when you think about what you're holding on to, then ask yourself, and we know when we talk about someone passing away, maybe we had a difficult situation with that person and we weren't able to resolve that situation, right? So that would be something that could probably maybe be unsettled in our heart or in our mind and the soul, right? But when we talk about relationships, the ups and downs in relationships, we can still deal with, you know, issues that happened in the past, and we can still be holding on to them. Now, I don't like to call those emotional scars. I like to say from each relationship or each interaction that you've had with someone, those are emotional remnants, okay? The reason why I don't like to say scars is because when we think of scars, we think of physical, what you can see, right? And we think of seeing those scars left on our bodies where we can say, oh, I remember this scar, right? I remember when I fell and broke my arm, or I remember when I scratched myself here on, you know, maybe the corner of a desk or something, or when I fell on my leg and I hurt my leg. When I remember when I was 5 years old and I fell, or I remember when I was 15 years old and whatever happened. Or for me, I may say, well, I remember falling off of my skateboard, right? When I used to ride skateboard as a kid. Or I can say, I remember when I was at camp one year and I hurt my leg and I had a heat pad on there. And I fell asleep with the heat pad, and guess what? It burned my leg, right? And I still have that scar. So that's why I look at scars as something that you can remember. What happened? Because you got them, you can see them, right? You can see them on your neck, around your face, on your face, your neck, your arms, your legs, wherever that scar is, you can see it, and you will be able to say, I remember when this, and this happened, right? So that's why, another reason why I like to look at the emotional scars that we have, that we hear people say this so often. The emotional scars are internal. I like to look at those as emotional remnants because I believe that that's something that can be healed. I believe over time you can heal it. And I believe over time that as you're healing, you're going to learn how to maintain that pain to where that pain is no longer controlling your life. That's the reason why I say I believe you can heal from that. Okay. So that's why I look at the emotional scars as emotional remnants. Okay. Because it's something that I believe you can heal from that. I'm a perfect example of that. When we talk about the marriage that I was in, it was a domestic violence marriage. Didn't know at the time. If you guys have been following me long enough, you know I didn't know. Found out some years later after the divorce that this is what I had been going through, because it wasn't physical, it wasn't verbal, and it was not sexual, okay, in my marriage. So it was a whole lot of other stuff that I went through. Was uneducated about, I'll just say ignorant to the fact of what domestic violence is. When I found out about it, then I realized that's what I had went through, right? And I also experienced that with my other daughter's dad. I have two daughters, two baby daddies, okay? And so I realized between the two of them that what I had been experiencing in both of those relationships were different forms of abuse. And so I was able to walk in forgiveness with these two guys, two baby dads. And the reason I say that what I'm sharing with you today is nothing but experience on my part, okay? What I've experienced and how I know that I have walked in forgiveness with these guys, my baby dads. I don't really like the way that sounds, but anyway, my baby daddies, right? I have walked in forgiveness with them for years. Now, I've been divorced almost 12 years, and I have walked in forgiveness at least 10 of those years, okay, with both of them. And so for me, that was huge for me to be able to do that and not to have any issues when I talk about them, not have any issues bringing up their name, not having any issues talking to my kids about their dads, being able to really feel free from those issues that I dealt with them, right? Emotionally, I'm free from that. So that's a great plus for me, and that's why I can share this information so candid with you, because I've experienced it, I've lived it. I know how, if you walk in forgiveness, let me just say this. I read this book called Forgiveness, The Ultimate Miracle by Paul J. Meyer. This book, I'm telling you, is life-changing. If you wanted to know how to walk in forgiveness with people that have wronged you, I'm going to tell you that book is the best book that you could ever purchase. It's called Forgiveness, The Ultimate Miracle by Paul J. Meyer. Great, awesome read book. It's easy to read it. You can probably read it in a day. I have read that book multiple times through the years when I was going through my issues, right, in order for me to help me to be able to forgive these guys. Great book. I purchased this book back in 2009 and was reading it then. Had to read it another time in order for me to really get the true understanding of how it was affecting me, right? Because I had one way of thinking about forgiveness, and I had that way of thinking for years, right? For some years of, forgiving, knowing that as a Christian, we are supposed to forgive, but not truly being taught in the church what forgiveness really is and how it truly affects your life. Reading that book opened up the doors for me and just made it so crystal clear to me to where I couldn't deny it. I couldn't deny what I was reading, right? And he's a Christian author too. So I couldn't deny it, right? And so as I'm reading this book, I'm like, wow, each time through those first couple years that I read that book, I was in a different place emotionally. I was in a different place on my forgiveness walk. So it made a huge difference to me each time that I read it. And I was like, wow, I get it now. I really, truly get it. And now I'm at the place where I can help and talk to other people about how valuable forgiveness is in your life, right? It brings freedom. It brings peace in your mind, body, and soul. I guarantee you it will. Now, when I'm talking about freedom, I'm not saying that you're giving that person a pass because of what he or she did to you, okay? Definitely I'm not saying that, or them, whoever those them is, right? I'm not saying you're giving that person a pass. Never would I say that. You're releasing the hurt, the pain, the fear, the shame, the disrespect, the anxiety, the depression, the fear, anything that you felt through the years from this person. It's going to release that from you to where you're going to be able to walk in such a space, a head space, where it's like, it's not like it never happened, but you're going to walk in this space of control, of confidence. Like, I know I went through that, but I'm in control of my life right now. And that person is not in my life, and they will never be in my life again, right? You have such power when you forgive that person, forgive them, you have such control back over your life. You walking in a certain kind of peace that is like the Bible says, that surpasses all understanding. And you're thinking like, how can I forgive this person because of what he or she did? But it brings this peace, like I said, like what the Bible says, of this peace that surpasses all understanding. And you walk in such a confidence, like, you know, this is my life now. I'm doing the things that I want to do. I put those boundaries up. I'm protecting myself so that won't happen again. And you're able to trust people again. You're able to love again, even though of what you've gone through in the past. Your body is free of that, right? Oh, sorry, y'all. I'm getting a phone call. My apology. You walk in such a freedom where it doesn't even bother you anymore. You're just like, wow, I'm free from all of this, right? I'm free from all of this hurt and pain that I went through. I'm free. I have such peace that I just can't even explain this peace that I have, right? I just can't explain it, this peace that I have. I just really can't explain it, but it feels good. And so I want to share this with you all. Forgiving someone brings peace to you, brings wholeness back to you, right? It brings control over your life back to you. It gives you that confidence to say, that was in my past, but I'm a different person, because you're going through your healing, right? You have to go through your healing first. And that also is you forgiving yourself for what happened in the past. So I had to forgive myself to say, you know, what I went through in the past, what I allowed to happen, I have to forgive myself for that. And once you forgive yourself, then you're able to, at some point, you can forgive the perpetrator or the offender, the person that hurt you. You can forgive them over time. It's not going to happen overnight, okay? Even you forgiving yourself is not going to happen overnight, but it's something that you can do. It's doable, right? So you want to think about, how much power am I bringing back to me? How much peace am I bringing back to me, right? I'm finding my purpose in all of this, right? So it has a lot to do with you walking on that path of forgiveness, okay? Your journey of forgiveness. So I wanted to share this with you all because it's so very, very valuable, right? I can remember being, you know, after I read the book, and I'm thinking, we're Christians, you know, we have children together, we should be able to communicate. So we were on the phone talking one day. I'm talking about my ex-husband, and I told him, hey, you know, I apologize. Please forgive me for anything I said or did in the marriage that hurt you, that wasn't right, you know, whatever. And he said, okay. And then I said, well, you know, aren't you going to tell me the same thing? And he was like, what? I said that, you know, aren't you going to ask me to forgive you? And he said, forgive me for what? He said, I didn't do anything. And I was like, holy crap. Before I realized, I was like, dang, that's what the book said. And then I kind of chuckled, right? Because the book did say you don't have to call the person up and tell them that. That's between you and your higher power, okay? My higher power is God. So I'm walking in forgiveness based on what I read in this book, how it feels in my heart, what I know is the right thing to do, what the scriptures say about forgiveness, right? And once I did that, it released so much of that junk that I had been holding on to, that emotional junk that I had been holding on to, right? And it just gave me such a sense of freedom, sense of peace that I hadn't felt in a long, long time. So if you don't get anything out of what I'm sharing with you today, I hope and pray that you get the part of freedom is the same as forgiveness. Forgiveness is freedom. Forgiveness is peace. Forgiveness is control back in your life. Forgiveness is, you know, being able to have that confidence. Forgiveness is giving you a new life, right? It's giving you new emotional health. It's giving you emotional freedom, okay? So I wanted to just kind of share this with you guys, and I hope that you all have learned something from today, that your takeaway is going to be something great out of what I've shared with you today. I'm so happy that we made it through 30 days, but I'm also a little sad because I won't be continuing on with these videos like this every morning, but I greatly appreciate your time and your support. And so just drop me a feed into the video. If it's something that I've said that you liked, you want to make a comment of it, please go ahead and do that. And I hope that something that I've shared with you, you're going to take it away and apply it into your life, and it'll make your life be so much better, especially when it comes to forgiveness. So with that being said, you all have a great rest of your morning, and I will see you guys on the next video, whenever that may be, right? Just keep looking out, because you know I'll do some pop-up videos from time to time. I might even do one tomorrow because it's the first day of October, which I'm going to be very active in for domestic violence. So you might stay tuned. You may see a video tomorrow. So with that being said, have a great rest of your morning and great rest of your week. Bye-bye.